Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. We have seen the lawsuit between Grayscale and the SEC come out with a Grayscale victory, meaning we could be seeing ETFs roll in very shortly. This has led to an exponential move upwards in Bitcoin, a 9% move in a matter of 12 hours. Absolutely huge. Bitcoin skyrocketing upwards, taking some of the targets we listed yesterday and facing a very, very important weekly candle. We could be copying exactly what we did in 2022, which is when we saw a fake out above the bull market support band and then a drop below. We could be seeing that in reverse. We could be seeing a fake out below right now, only to be led by large upside price action over the coming months. We'll have to wait and see, but overall, weekly candle close is very important. We've got ETF decisions coming this week on 5 major ETF applications. Big stuff coming. Big stuff has happened. We'll look into everything. We'll look into the charts. We'll look into the Grayscale lawsuit. We'll look into the ETFs. We'll look into everything today. This is a very important video. I highly recommend you stick around till the end. Thanks for watching in advance. Let's get into it. Okay guys, obviously there's a lot to discuss today. As I said in the introduction, we have bolstered upwards on Bitcoin. I mean, rarely we've moved upwards with such a rapid speed. I mean, look at this, the hourly chart right here. In just one single hourly candle, we saw a move of 6% in one hourly candle. I mean, that's astonishing. If you put that into terms, you put that into context, you could say, well, look, the S&P 500 averages 8% per year. We moved upwards on Bitcoin in 1 hour, 6%, almost the entire S&P returns. From the bottom of the move to the top of the move, that's an 8% move. I had someone on YouTube say yesterday, I did a community post, he said, oh, wow, only an 8% move, that's nothing kind of thing. I'm like, my friend, that's an entire year of returns in the S&P 500. You have to remember, guys, Bitcoin is not some random shit coin, okay? It's not some random altcoin that pumps dozens of percent on a daily basis. That is a big move. And why did that move occur? Well, obviously, we saw that move because, well, there's a couple of things, right? But first and foremost, the reason we saw that move, the direct reason, was because Grayscale, guys, won the lawsuit against the SEC. Now, what was the lawsuit? Essentially, Grayscale sued the SEC or put in a lawsuit against the SEC because essentially they rejected their Bitcoin spot application. And Grayscale was saying it was, there was unreasonable grounds to reject the application. The lawsuit was going on for a while, and Grayscale won. Meaning, right, that judges have ruled, okay? They've ruled that the application for a spot ETF on Bitcoin was unjustifiably denied, which means now that realistically, the spot application for Grayscale should be approved in the near future, okay? So now we've kind of seen an open pathway for Grayscale to move from a Bitcoin trust in which they hold 3% of the Bitcoin supply to a Bitcoin ETF. Now, this is going to lead to exponentially more buying in the market. It's going to open up the market massively. Obviously, we haven't seen a spot ETF approval yet at all in Bitcoin's entire price history. Now we've got Grayscale coming in and winning a lawsuit, opening the pathway for a spot ETF approval. At the same time, okay, within 5 days from now, we will see, it's 5 days until Labor Weekend, right? 5 days from now, we will see the SEC rule on 5 Bitcoin spot applications, right? Spot ETF applications from, the big guys, right? And including Blackrock, right? So real big guys here. So I want you guys to really just take a minute and pause and think about what this means, okay? So this is for the price, not the fundamentals. It's a different story for the fundamentals. But this is what's happened in the last 24 hours, okay? We've had the SEC lose a case against Grayscale, okay? Grayscale saying the SEC was kind of unjustified in denying their application. They won the case, therefore, the SEC has been ruled to be unjustified in denying the spot ETF application. That means that we will be seeing a spot ETF most likely from Grayscale. At the same time as the SEC has been ruled to be unjustifiably judging these applications, we've had 5 more ETF applications, okay, we'll have made decisions on in 5 days, okay? So it becomes very, very likely all of a sudden that they're not going to deny these applications. It becomes very, very likely that they're going to approve these applications. And what is that going to do to the price? Well, obviously news events are kind of unpredictable when it comes to price action, but obviously Bitcoin ETFs are good for the price because it opens up an entirely different market, especially in the USA, where most exchanges now are, non-KYC. You can't really KYC in exchanges. It's going to be a way for people to who aren't necessarily, trustworthy with cryptocurrency, who aren't necessarily, super involved in cryptocurrency to easily access the entire market. So it's going to lead to a massive amount of inflows. Obviously, there's a huge companies. BlackRock's one of the biggest hedge funds in the world. So them having a Bitcoin ETF will be huge, massive amount of potential market opening up there. Now, I want to just quickly discuss the potential negative repercussions of this, of ETFs in general. Yes, ETFs are good for the price. Yes, as I said, they open up a massive amount of, buying pressure, and they open up the market for way more people who aren't necessarily versed well in cryptocurrency. I don't think anyone in their right minds would buy crypto through an ETF if they knew what crypto was or what crypto did or why they should actually be buying crypto in the first place. But the fact of the matter is the vast majority of people don't really know anything about what they're doing. So we probably will see these ETFs be very, very popular, especially to the average Joe. And so, there's positives in that. Of course, it means the price will go upwards. The negatives are very clear as well, though, and that's that. I don't think a lot of people are thinking about it, though. I think people kind of get rose-tinted glasses with this kind of thing. The fact of the matter is, Bitcoin is not meant to be put in an ETF, okay? Bitcoin is all about financial sovereignty. Bitcoin is all about people actually owning their bloody keys, right? And be able to have an alternative to the current financial monetary systems, right? So, if you buy Bitcoin in an ETF, it's not even your Bitcoin. You don't even own the keys. So, there's a saying in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. Unfortunately, these ETFs are not good fundamentally. They kind of destroy the purpose of cryptocurrency as a whole. And what we actually could see is governments banning exchanges, listing exchanges as too risky and people are going to get scammed on exchanges and only allow buying through ETFs, which would actually kill the entire purpose of crypto. So, not to be the bearer of bad news, but I actually don't think that spot ETFs are good for the long-term health of cryptocurrency. If you're thinking more than price, which a lot of people fail to do, okay, because most people only care about the price. If you're thinking about tech, if you're thinking about the use case, and you're thinking about the actual use of Bitcoin and crypto, you probably don't want these applications to go through. However, unfortunately, it looks like they're probably going to go through because, for example, BlackRock has made hundreds of applications for ETFs in the past, and all except for one, they've only been rejected one time, okay? Out of the hundreds they've applied, I think 500 they've applied for, they've only been rejected one time. The point is, they don't apply for ETFs if they think they're going to get rejected. And they've applied for a Bitcoin ETF, they have clearly a lot of confidence that it's going to be accepted. Therefore, it probably will be, especially with this ruling, we just saw in the SEC. So, it's big stuff. ETFs will probably come rolling in now. So before we even look into the charts, because we just spent 5 or 6 minutes discussing the actual fundamental price action, the fundamentals, the events that's happened, the news, etc., we need to look into one thing quickly. That is the VIP group. Guys, we've upgraded the VIP group recently. We've got a 79% win rate on Telegram. And obviously we trade our coins on Telegram, 3 to 5 altcoin trading signals a week. All the information is in the VIP information and results group, which you can join for free down below in the description. That shows you, again, the information, the results. The results are 79% win rate, 4 out of every 5 trades reaching profit. That's exceptionally good. We've recently upgraded the group to add a community group chat to the VIP. We've deleted the free Wolves of Crypto community group chat, and we've made it a VIP exclusive. And so if you want to join the VIP group, you get access to that group chat as well now, and that's no additional cost. That's just a free bonus we've added in there. So that's big. Check out the VIP group. That's down below. Without further ado, let's get into the charts. So Bitcoin has obviously seen strength. Obviously, this move occurred when we had that SEC decision, the court ruling come in. And that was, obviously in favor of Grayscale, and so we saw a massive pump because of that. At the same time, actually, we saw jobs openings come in very, very low, and that was very bullish for the market. And so, yeah, look, we saw a massive pump because of that, and we've pumped upwards. Where have we pumped upwards to? Interestingly, we've pumped upwards right up to the bull market support band, and we've closed just above the bull market, just within the bull market support band. We had various uptrending and downtrending lines that make the chart very messy. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of them now because some of them aren't relevant anymore, particularly this one down below. That is not relevant anymore because it acted as no real resistance, and we're well above that now. We don't need to look at that anymore. We can keep these 3 over here, these 3 dotted lines, because this first dotted line, this upper dotted line, we've actually briefly rejected from in short term. This bottom of the wedge formation, we actually briefly rejected from in the short term. We're rejecting from it right now. Actually, bull market support band is still very obvious as well, and we haven't tested this upper band yet, so we want to keep that in there just in case it acts as resistance in the future. So, basically, We've come upwards massively. We're retesting bull market support band. I'm going to look into bull market support band in a second, because bull market support band is actually one of the most important things that's happening on the entire Bitcoin chart right now. But overall, the short-term structure's been great. It's just a lovely little cup formation. Lovely rounding bottom formation. Quick up, quick down. Quick down, quick up, I should say. And that's great to see. Now, I do have quite a bit of confidence in Bitcoin as of right now, because we have also broken the RSI resistance. We have a downtrending RSI resistance line stemming from the 23rd of June. That is something we rejected on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate occasions, and we found brief resistance on it yesterday during the move. So 6 occasions. We've got above that. We've closed above that. Generally, when you break RSI resistance, downtrending RSI resistance, you go upwards quite a lot in the price as well. So we have broken that. That will probably lead to upwards momentum. But we do need to note, okay, that there is proper resistance here as well, because we've got these 3 downtrending lines all in one conglomerate, as well as the bull market support band. Although we've closed within it, that makes it a little bit weaker, a little bit easier to break. We do also have a lot of resistance here still. Once we clear something like 28.6k, that's when we're getting above the vast majority of the things holding us down here on Bitcoin. And then obviously, if we want to look at a macro point of view, we really need to get above 32k, because 32k is the top of the green range. And that's kind of like our bounce zone that we found during the 2021 bull market. Okay, if you look at what 32k was, that's what we bounced off in the bull market. That's where we rejected from in the bear market. It's where we've rejected from on 2 occasions now. So 32k is the macro target. We need to get above 32k very badly. Again, it's where we've rejected from twice, and obviously we need to stay above 24.5k. So macro speaking, I mean long-term speaking, we have to stay above 24.5 and we need to get above 32. But if we're talking short-term strictly, really clearing 28.6k would be enough to really get us back in business here and really recover the vast majority of the damage that was done by this drop downwards. So we're not far away from that target, and we do have promising signs. Now, obviously, this was fueled by a news event, and so, it is, in a way, not necessarily TA cause. I mean, it depends what you mean by TA cause, right? Because the TA was Bitcoin on a major support zone. The TA was Bitcoin at the bottom of a major range. It's just the velocity of which we moved upwards was triggered by news, not necessarily the direction itself. In fact, I made it pretty clear yesterday that if we're looking at bull market support band, because again, that's actually the main thing I want to talk about today, bull market support band. Let me find a clean chart where I can really discuss it. If we're looking at bull market support band, again, discussed this yesterday a lot. This is the main thing we need to get above. Yeah, we've got monthly chart. Monthly chart's very important as well. And we'll look at monthly chart in a moment here. But realistically, yesterday's video, what did I discuss? I discussed the bull market support band on the weekly and the monthly close. So weekly close and monthly close. Weekly close is half the problem, and it's actually the most important part of the problem, because if we get above the bull market support band on the weekly chart, that's extremely good for Bitcoin. I've looked into this before. Everyone's probably seen this before. If you've ever watched my channel or Benjamin Cohen's channel, you've probably heard about this indicator before. It's the bull market support band. It's a band that consists of the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. And you can see just by looking at it, just look at the screen here. Look at this orange band. Look what Bitcoin does. It bounces off of the band. It rejects off of the band. Once we get above it, it takes a long time to lose it. Once we get below it, it takes a long time to get above it. This thing has been incredibly accurate in the past. We've only seen very, very few fake outs. Unfortunately, Bitcoin saw a decisive red candle close below it. But I pointed out, and not many people are pointing this out, guys, by the way. Not even Benjamin Cohen's pointing this out. We are seeing a similar formation to what we saw over here. I've been talking about it for literally a week since the first close below it. I said there's a chance we see this. That isn't an evening star candlestick formation. That is a candlestick formation that I just circled, where you see a strong green candle, a bearish doji candle, and then a strong red candle. Okay, we're seeing the same thing but flipped around. A strong red candle, a bullish doji candle, and then a strong green candle. If this green candle we see here, okay, the current candle closing in 5 days closes above the bull market support band. If this green candle closes above 28.2k, which it very strongly has a chance to do now, seeing as this recent move has moved upwards, we will be copying exactly what we did in March 2022, and the result would be a strong move, okay, which would be a strong move upwards in this scenario. So we are very much, in a pretty strong position to copy what we did in 2022 March, in which case we would be seeing a green close over this bull market support band by the end of this week, and then a strong upwards momentum, which would lead to a break above 32k, which would be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. So I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. All eyes should be on the Bitcoin weekly chart. All eyes should be on the Bitcoin bull market support band. Unfortunately, we haven't seen any development yet, because obviously the candle hasn't closed yet. We can't see any development, but we've seen great development in the sense that we've moved up to the band. You know, yesterday we were 6-7% lower than where we are right now. Right now we're testing the band. We've closed within on the daily chart. It's really, really promising stuff. We could be copying exactly what we saw in 2022, which would lead to upwards momentum once we get above it, if we get above it. So again, all eyes are on the bull market support band. All eyes are on 28.2K. Now, another important chart is the monthly chart on Bitcoin.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little news flash for you. You trust exchanges with your money. They get hacked all the time. They lose funds all the time. So the exchange you're using, you're actually trusting with your money. You're also paying them fees for trades. You're paying up to thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per year in fees. So you want to have a bloody good exchange, right? And that's why I have two exchanges for you guys, two options depending on your location, depending on what you want from exchange. The first one is Bitget. That is a KYC exchange. You can sign up from anywhere in the world, excluding the United States, excluding Canada, and excluding Singapore. Very low fees, protection fund, the whole 9 yards. We've also got BingX. That's our second exchange, and that is an exchange you can sign up non-KYC from anywhere in the world, including every country, right? With a VPN from anywhere in the world. Again, very low fees, protection fund, everything you need in an exchange. Both of these exchanges are top 10 exchanges in trading volume. Sign up using my referral link below to get a 15% trading fee discount on both of the exchanges. Again, they'll both be in the description. Referral link is there. Get on the good exchange and become a proper trader. Don't use these trashy exchanges that you're risking your money and paying over in fees. Guys, let's get back into the video.
We have this dividing line on Bitcoin monthly chart at around 29.3K. And basically that is a line that we rejected from over here. We dropped below it, we got above it, we flipped it for support, we've dropped below it once again. And that line on a macro scale does kind of line up with our major resistance at 32K. And obviously, you know, we don't want to see a close below this line again after a failed resistance support flip. It's not very good to see a drop below it, a decisive drop below it. We really want to be getting back above that line by the monthly candle close. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a harder task. The monthly candle only closes in 48 hours, and so getting above 29.3K in 48 hours might be a challenge for Bitcoin. You know, that would be quite a feat, really. I mean, look, if we're looking at, you know, when that monthly candle actually closes, you know, it closes, well, let's see, Thursday's tomorrow, so Friday will be Friday around this point in time over here. We would have to be seeing a, 13% move in a 3-day period. So it's possible, we'd have to get to this region right here by that time period. It's possible. We'd need probably another news event, for example, an ETF approval or something like that to send us up there. It's possible, but it's hard to say anything more than that because TA wouldn't, TA is kind of irrelevant when it comes to that kind of move. It's just not really TA based. But yeah, I mean, ideally we see a close above 29.3K. Best case scenario, we see a close, high enough to avoid some of the negativeness that would come with a low close. The reason I say that might not make sense from the surface, I'll explain in a second. The reason I say that is because we're coming in for a bearish stochastic RSI cross on the monthly chart. And if we close high enough, for example, even if we close here at 27.6, we would not be seeing that bearish cross occur on this candle close. We'll be able to delay it until next month, and hopefully by then we'll see upside price action. And the same thing is kind of occurring on the monthly chart from an RSI perspective. If you look down the bottom of the screen on the RSI, you'll see a 14 moving average in yellow and the RSI price line. There's been bullish crosses and bearish crosses between these lines before, between the moving average and the RSI price line. And if we see a close high enough, it doesn't necessarily need to be above 29.3K, but if we see it high enough, for example, 28K, we will avoid seeing the bearish cross this month and we'll kick the can down the road till next month. So this is why I say the weekly chart's more important than the monthly right now. Even though the monthly chart is very important and we probably do need to get above 29.3K as soon as we possibly can, we also understand that if we close at something like 28, it's not the end of the world because we won't be seeing a bearish cross trigger just yet on the stochastic RSI, and we won't be seeing a bearish cross trigger just yet on the monthly RSI. We can kind of kick the can down the road if we close high enough. So all we really need to do is close high enough. We don't really need to get back above the target. Obviously, it will be ideal to get back above a target of 29.3, but realistically, the monthly chart, there's a little bit of room for error there. There's no room for error on the weekly. On the weekly, it's very clear. If we don't get above the bull market support band this weekly close, we're not copying 2022 anymore. Therefore, we lose the entire scenario in which we see, further upside price action like we saw in 2022 to the reverse. So, weekly chart is actually more important for the reason that it has less room for error. We do need to get above bull market support band on this weekly candle close. It is absolutely fundamentally important. And Bitcoin's done a lot of that work already. It's managed to hold the Gaussian channel center line. It's managed to get back above the 200-week SMA. Even on the 3-day chart, which is, you might seem like a bit of a random chart to you guys, but I assure you it's not. Even on 3-day chart, look at the green line here, okay? And let me just delete everything in this chart and show you what's actually going on here. 3-day chart, the 200-week SMA, the green line, and the red line, the 50-week SMA, they have crosses. They are called death crosses and golden crosses. These crosses lead to dramatic price action. There was a death cross here, we went downwards, golden cross here, upwards, downwards, upwards, right? Downwards, upwards. These crosses are very, very decisive for Bitcoin, and these moving averages themselves act as very strong support and resistance. We've seen a bearish cross just recently. Okay, we saw a bearish cross in 2014. We saw a bearish cross in 2018. We saw it over here in 2022. We've seen one just recently. All right. Now, after bearish crosses, we don't generally get back above the 200-week SMA. Sorry, the 203-day chart SMA until the downside move is over. Right. We got above it in 2015. We went upwards from there. Okay, if we're going through price history, we got above it in 2019. We went upwards from there. Okay, we got above it in just briefly, here in 2023. We're meant to go upwards from there. We lost it briefly again, but we saw that bearish cross. Okay, and now we've got above it once more. That might be confusing. Let me explain what I mean. What I mean is this. After bearish crosses, okay, we don't generally get back above the 200-week SMA unless we're going to go upwards again strongly. And we've gotten above it again. So that's good. It's a good sign, basically, right? So that's good. The point I'm making is that, we've done a lot of the work already just in the last 24 hours. We really don't have much left to do. We just need to edge our heads over 28.2 and be there in 5 days when the close occurs. We've gotten above, these moving averages already. We've just got one more to go, right? The bull market support band is the last standing moving average resistance. It's very important we get above it, but I think I've emphasized that enough now. Obviously, the bear case is still standing. The bear case being we have on the logarithmic chart a head and shoulders pattern that kind of encompasses the entirety of 2023. We've dropped below that neckline, and that neckline breakdown is targeting this pink line here. It's targeting a move down on Bitcoin to around 21K. It's targeting a retest of this macro uptrending pink line. And that would, if that does occur, if that bearish case does kind of, happen, if the bearish case is realized, we will be seeing downside price action on a macro scale for the rest of 2023, most likely, and even edging into Q1 2024. So, ideally we don't see that, but it certainly is possible. And even if we see this downside scenario, it wouldn't actually break the 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle will still be sound. It just wouldn't be ideal from our perspective, because obviously we want to see Bitcoin go upwards. But yeah, the bear case is still active. It's still very much there. In terms of macro scale, Bitcoin is still in a macro uptrend, and the reason being is because we haven't seen a lower low yet, okay, and we haven't seen a lower low, we haven't seen a lower high, right? In order to identify trends, you need to be going, well, what are the lows? The lows are here, and the lows are higher, each low is higher, each high is higher, therefore you've got higher highs, higher lows. So technically speaking, we're not even in a macro downwards trend yet, so this would actually be the perfect place to reverse, because the macro structure is still intact. Yes, we've done bad things. For example, we've formed a potential double top, but none of it is realized yet because we haven't formed a new low. Therefore, we're still in a macro upwards trend. So again, this would be the perfect place to reverse because no macro damage has been done yet. We go lower than this. If we drop below 24.5K, that's when macro damage actually starts to get done. So overall, we've seen the SEC lose against Grayscale. That's big. We've seen a big move upwards on Bitcoin. That's good to see. But we still need to watch this weekly candle close. Really, I mean, that's the most important thing right now. The monthly is important as well. 48 hours until the monthly close. We'll be looking at that closely over the next 2 days. But the weekly is really everything right now. And that's all I can really say about that to Bitcoin. Look, we're doing well. It's great to see a massive surge upwards in price action. We have some massive news events coming up this week, of course, with the ETF decisions. So big stuff coming along. RSI breakout, there is a chance of more upside moves, and we really want to see that materialize so we get that good weekly candle close. But don't be surprised, guys, if we see short-term corrections. We are in, as I said, a major resistance zone now. Until we get above 28.6K, we're really not clear of any major resistance. We've still got major resistance until 28.6K. So, I wouldn't necessarily be chasing longs at this point. This is a time in which you be cautious and you wait on the sidelines. If you didn't get the longs to begin with, you shouldn't be chasing them now, in my opinion. But that's just me. You guys can do what you want. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Check out the Crypto Academy's Become a Trader 10-unit course. This course will teach you everything you need to know about analyzing charts, everything you need to know about trading. All the information is on the website, and you can throw us an email. Again, the email address is on the website. So any questions you have, requesting payment information, etc., you can throw us an email there. Just say, hi, I'm looking for information. We'll get back to you within 24 hours. So check it out. And then obviously we've got the BingX exchange, Bitget exchange. We've also got the VIP group. All that information's been shared throughout the video, and all the links in the description. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you tomorrow.